Meanwhile, at the Congress, everything is up for grabs as long as it's yours.
I'm Pamela Wistrom, co-host of On Second Thought. And now, for the host and star of this 14-year weekly-long TV show. Oh, are you ready? The one and only William J. Wagener.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So when the sheriff knows you've got an armed militia and he doesn't do his job, you're going to go around him because we the people are the final authority. That's why the sheriff outranks the CIA, the FBI, he outranks them all.
He outranks the president.
He outranks the president in his county, in his jurisdiction, because he's elected directly by we the people. He represents we the people. And if the sheriff won't do it, and he represents we the people, welcome. That was a long introduction going back to September of last year. We're here with a new show today, which is April Fool's Day. And we're not fooling around. Taking my white hat off for you guys who tuned in today live on April 1, 2015. Today with me in the studio is a man named Zylo Marshall, who's got a minor issue with the court in Florida, I think it is, isn't it?
West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach. Welcome to the show, Mr. Marshall.
Thank you.
Mr. Marshall was an heir to his grandfather's fortune. Is that right?
Yes.
And through hook and crook, the attorneys for your aunt managed to take you completely out of the will?
Well, what happened was they produced a forged document 11 days prior to trial. Okay, I was able to validate the forged document. Then they compared a 2003 will and a 2009 will. So they jumped over 2 wills to avoid losing his license at trial.
And who forged the later wills?
Lois Haymes.
Ah, can we get a shot of this, people? On the other camera. Here's the signatures, and you can see over here, you see the original will, is that right, Marshall?
The original signatures on wills and
of Alan Haynes, and then in the middle you see the forged signatures, and then right on this side over here you see Lois Haynes' actual signature. Now what you're alleging is that Lois Haynes forged what?
Forged a amendment to a trust, which removed Merrill Lynch Bank, okay, trust account. Okay, she forged a 2006 will in order to disinherit me, okay, because my name was not in the 2003, 2005, 2006, 2009 will. 2003 and 2005, I was described as a disabled beneficiary. My aunt was not named in the 2003 will.
In the original will.
In the original will.
She's not even on the will.
Correct.
Which we have a copy of here.
Correct. And I told that to the judge. He said, you don't have, you can't represent yourself. We can only go so far you represent yourself. So I'm going to make this a summary judgment granted because you are not even in the will. But I am going to allow you to go after, I'm going to allow you to go after the trust. Okay? Which, how can I do that if I don't have any money, don't have any knowledge on filing the lawsuit?
How old were you back then when this all went down? This was what, 2010?
2010. I was.
So we have the will, and I've seen the will. You have a. In fact, he's got a huge file. This is just a short file he's got on his case, prepared for today's presentation. Here's a picture of Mr. Marshall with his grandfather, right here. If we can catch it on this other camera.
In 2007.
Yeah, this is 2007 photo.
Yes.
Of you and your grandfather, who died when?
2010. Can
I get this camera? So that's you and your grandfather. He's alive. What year was this again?
2007.
2007. And this picture was when?
2007. That was the same time.
Same time.
Yes.
And here's a picture of who?
My grandfather and I in 1994.
1994. He looks pretty good there.
Yes. Yes.
And you're what? How old there? You're 14 or something?
No, I was 16 or 17.
16 and 70. So this is a couple years after your stepfather
Right.
killed your mother.
My stepdad murdered my mother in 1989.
Now this is a photo of who?
My aunt and myself.
This is your Aunt Lois, who you allege did what?
Disinherited me from my grandfather's estate over time as a gradual process. If you don't sign this, I will abandon you.
Wow.
Okay? And I have documentation through police reports, sheriff's reports, and adult protective services that shows that she was after his money, period. She cared more about his money.
Can you pull up one of those police reports?
I will.
I'm looking at these signatures, and this is near and dear to my heart because I had a younger sister named Cindy who did exactly the same thing. When my mother was old and frail, she sequestered my mother in Oregon away from the family, wouldn't let us see it, and then she changed the will progressively. I think there was 3 or 4 wills, from a will that said each of the children get an equal amount to the final will was my sister Cindy got everything, and the rest of us were completely cut out. Of course, my older brother, Dr. Wagener, challenged that. It went to probate court trial, and in the end, the original will was reinstated. But we had a trial. Did you ever get a full trial on this issue of forged wills?
No. They did a summary judgment to avoid losing his license for aiding and abetting the forgery.
For who? For who to lose the license?
Matt Tornicasa, my Aunt Lois Haymes' attorney.
Your Aunt Lois Haynes, who keeps a home in Santa Barbara County as well as in Florida?
Yes.
Her attorney was Matt Tornicasa?
Matthew Tornicasa.
And because he aided, you're saying he aided and abetted this attorney, this honorable member of the State Bar of Florida, aided and abetted the forgery, these forgeries we see right here?
Yes.
And so he went for a summary judgment and the judge gave it to him?
Correct.
Without a trial?
Without a trial.
Do you remember the judge's name?
The judge's name is Martin H. Collin.
Martin H. Collin.
Martin
H.
Collin.
Sounds like a Jewish judge in West Palm Beach.
Yes.